The NFL draft is done and over, and I am going to be breaking down each and every team and grading out their draft. So check back every day, because one team I will do every single day, and I'll have it up here on YouTube for you to watch. We'll go over every prospect that they drafted, as well as some key undrafted free agents that they may bring in. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section, and I'll be sure to address them for you. Also, just be aware on my draft grades, no one fails the draft, especially right after it. Even no one in this draft is going to get a D or an F from me, because everyone had a talent. Everyone did something. So if you think the grades are a little bit high, that's just me not going to too much extremes. And maybe in 3 or 4 years, when we look back on this draft, then we can see who really succeeded and who really failed. So sit back, relax, enjoy me as I break down every single team this year. The draft expert, Shane Hallam, shows off his knowledge. Writing mock drafts, prospects from the best college. Breaking down tape, he might develop a man crush. Tearing up guys, taking questions in a rush. Comparisons, learning lessons, Shane saves the day, hoy vey. Hulk or Banner, doesn't matter. Listen, cause here's who can play. Hey everyone, today we're going to be grading the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Pittsburgh Steelers came in with a fair amount of picks, and a team that was in the Super Bowl 14 months ago, but still had a lot of needs, and they had to address them in the draft. And in the first round, they got Maurkice Pouncey, center out of Florida. And I thought this was a pretty good pick. I think Maurkice Pouncey is one of the safer picks in the draft. He could play center, he could play guard, one of the better center prospects to come out in the last couple years. So this is something that the Steelers have not addressed for a long time, their offensive line situation. This is the first time we've seen it in the past few years, and I think it's going to help keep that offensive cog running. In the second, they took Worilds, linebacker out of Virginia Tech, a guy that's going to stand up in that 3-4, very athletic, going to probably learn from James Harrison, learn from Lamar Woodley. The Steelers didn't have very much depth at that outside linebacker position. They really added it with this draft. So I like that pick. I think he's a Steeler guy, born and bred, very tough, very athletic, going to do well rushing off of the edge. That's what he's going to be there to take over that James Harrison type of role. In the third, they took Emmanuel, wide receiver out of SMU. And with the trading of Santonio Holmes, they needed someone to fit in that slot. Mike Wallace going to start this year. So they got Emmanuel, a guy they likened to Hines Ward in a way. He came out of June Jones' offense, so he's going to have to adjust to the pro game. But he's a decent return man. He catches everything. I think maybe it's a little bit high for him. I thought he should probably go in the 4th or 5th round. I think he needs a lot of polishing. Doesn't have great speed. Not going to get away from you. But I do think Emmanuel is a good fit for the Steelers. Someone that can start in the slot. I think he'll beat out Antoine Randall well initially, and can just be the solid third down receiver that can catch passes. In the 4th, they took Thaddeus Gibson, linebacker out of Ohio State, a guy that I know well, that I've talked to personally, and I think he's another good fit for the Steelers. Another pass-rushing outside linebacker. They're just adding to the depth, and I think they got him and Worilds, and they're trying to find that replacement for James Harrison. He's not going to be there in 2 or 3 years. He's going to be gone. They're going to need someone to come in to make sure that their defense, which is purely based on that pass rush with Dick LeBeau, they need to find a very good replacement who will step right in and be a Pro Bowl caliber guy. And I think they found it with one of these two guys. So I like the Thaddeus Gibson pick. He's a little undersized. He'll probably bulk him up a little bit. But in a way, the system that the Ohio State runs, pretty similar to the Steelers' defense. And I think that Thaddeus Gibson will make that transition very well. In the 5th, they took Chris Scott, offensive guard out of Tennessee. Another versatile lineman, guy they like a lot. Kind of a mauler that can go in there, play guard, play right tackle. I think they're probably looking at him as a reserve tackle right now. But I do like the pick. Now, I think they were trying to take a look at Jacques McClendon, his teammate, who got picked by the Colts earlier, and this was kind of the consolation prize there in the 5th round. Also in the 5th, they took Crezdon Butler, cornerback out of Clemson, guy that could play safety or corner. Steelers went for a lot of versatility in this draft, and it looks like Butler's going to primarily play cornerback for them. Very athletic, high upside type of player, very raw. I wonder where his fit is going to be, because they also traded for Bryant McFadden in this draft. They got him back from Arizona. So you have a lot of players in this secondary that are playing corner right now, from Mike Taylor to McFadden to Joe Burnett to Keenan Lewis, who they drafted last year. You still have William Gay there, and now Crezdon Butler. So I think Crezdon Butler may be the odd man out here. We'll see if he makes this team. In the fifth, they had another fifth-round pick. They took Stevenson, Sylvester, linebacker out of Utah. Guy's going to come in as an inside linebacker reserve, something else that they needed. They signed Larry Foote, got him back, so he's going to be playing behind Timmons and behind Ferrier. And Sylvester's going to add more depth, a decent special teams player. I thought this was a pretty good pick and a great fit for that defense. He probably can only play in the 3-4, going to be a very good tackling linebacker inside. He doesn't have the athleticism of a Timmons, but he's more like a Larry Foote type of guy. In the sixth, they got Jonathan Dwyer, running back out of Georgia Tech. Really love this pick. I'm a big Jonathan Dwyer fan. I really don't know why he fell this far. Yeah, the time speed wasn't there, but he plays much faster than he times. Coming out of that triple option offense, he came out a year early. Apparently that was a mistake. He has to learn to play in an I form, learn to play in a pro-style system, but even so, I think Jonathan Dwyer is a player that can go up the middle. It's going to be tough. He's a good complement to Rashard Mendenhall. I think he can win that number 2 job from Day Moore. You line him up there, and you get him to put his head down and ram people over. He always gets yardage. He's pretty good vision. He's very smooth in his cuts, good in that way. He hits that second gear very quickly, and I think that's what the Steelers probably like from him. And I think the work ethic issues, the weight issues, and all that, hopefully those are overblown. If not, then this maybe end up a wasted pick. But in the 6th round, I think it's worth a chance. Then in the 6th, they took Antonio Brown, wide receiver from Central Michigan, probably more of a special teams guy, a guy that will compete for a return position as well. Someone that just always made plays at Central Michigan with Dan Lefevre. And so I just think you want a productive reserve number 5 wideout, especially with Lima Swede's injury now. Antonio Brown's going to make this team and going to contribute in some way. Then finally in the 7th, they took Doug Worthington, defensive end out of Ohio State, guy that played D-tackle inside, going to kick out to the 5 technique, 3-4 D-end. They just needed to add a little bit of depth there. I think that's what Doug Worthington is. A very solid player. Not going to wow you with athleticism. He's not going to be Ziggy Hood. He's not going to be Aaron Smith. But he's going to be someone that can eat up blocks for you and maybe add a little bit of pass rush here and there. So I think that's a fine pick that fits their system well. Overall, I'm going to give the Steelers an A-. I think they had plenty of picks. They addressed their needs. They got Brian McFadden back, which I thought was great. Gives them a starter corner, one of their weakest positions. I think they added a lot of depth that they needed, as well as getting an instant starter in Maurkice Pouncey. It's going to come and reinvigorate that offensive line. With the Roethlisberger suspension, this may be another down year for the Steelers, but I think this draft will help keep that going in 2 or 3 years when you have these guys step up. So, give an A-. A couple undrafted free agents that I like for the Steelers. They got Lindsey Witten, linebacker out of UConn, a guy that was extremely productive this past year at UConn, kind of a one-year wonder. I don't love the fit in the 3-4, but I think it's worth a shot. And the other guy is Ciron Black, offensive tackle from LSU. Pure mauler, not much athleticism, not going to do much in the way of footwork, but someone that maybe can kick into guard and just be a solid player. I thought he should have been drafted in the 4th or 5th round, so I think it's another great pickup for the Steelers that need more offensive line depth. So there's the Steelers.